everybody, so I'm going to do a super little quick one today. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do a step counter, so basically like a Fitbit. Okay, these are really easy to make, and I'm going to show you how now in a couple of minutes. So what we need, first thing we need to do is we need to create a variable. So we need to do something to store the amount of steps we do. So if we go down to variables and click on that, we're going to make a variable, and I'm just going to call it step. So this is going to be where we're going to save how many steps we do, because we just need a place to put that, something to save it under. And then we have got these options pop up here. Okay, so what I want to do, well, I want to look into basic, and if we go down to on start, so this will be as soon as I turn the microphone on, well, I want to start the variable. So if I click on the variable and we say step variable, set step. So that means as soon as we turn it on now, we create something called step and we set it to 0. And so you can see how if you wanted to, you could actually cheat here. As soon as you turn it on, well, you could put in 20,000. And now you've already done 20,000 steps from the moment you turned it on. But we won't cheat for the moment. We'll just leave it at 0. Okay, so that's it. So it started up at that. And well, what happens? Well, every time you take a step, you want your number to change up to 1, don't you? So this is super easy too. If we look down in our inputs, if you remember we did this before, there's just a little on shake here. And I'm going to pull that out. And you can see now there's drop down menus here as well, so we can do a bunch of little things with these. I'm going to go over these little ones a little bit later, these ones with the G in them. For the moment, we'll just look at this on shake. And so what do we want to do? Well, basically we just want to increase our step number, don't we? So if we look in our variables, down here again, we can see that we have a change step by 1. And that's exactly what we want. Now again, if you wanted to cheat, you could say every step you do is worth, say, 5. It's easy peasy to do it there, but that's it anyway. Oops, better change that back to 1. Okay, and so here we already have our step counter. Okay, so when it starts and every time I shake it, it should add 1, but we can see a problem. Well, we have no idea what our number is just because we're not showing it. So again, if we go into basic, what we can do is we can look down here and we can pull out the forever. And so whatever's in here is just going to happen over and over and over again. Well, I want to see what number our steps are. So if we again just go into basic and then we look, well, we've got this show number. I'm just going to put that in there. Now this is just going to show 0. We want it to show the variable step. So again, if we look under here, variables, there's a step, and you can see they're going to be the right shape. And as soon as you pull it out, it just sort of wants to jump in there. And then you'll see that that'll change. And now if I shake this, for the equivalent of having a step, every time you do that, your number will go up, and now it's starting to scroll because it's 10 or 11. Okay, and that's literally how easy it is to do a step counter. Now, we can make this a little bit more interesting and more fun. So what about adding a jump counter to it? Wow. So something that measures the jump. Well, we can do this again. So we're going to follow the same process. And so instead of set, we're going to want something called jump. We're going to make a variable called jumps. Okay, and now we're going to have to do the same process. Well, I'm going to set my jumps to 0. But this time it's not going to be on shake, because that's going to be on a step. So what we want to do is if we look in our inputs, and I'm going to pull this out again, but I'm going to change it. You see now it's gone a strange color because I already have a shake up here, so we can't tell it to do the same thing twice. So if I look down here, these G's, these are a type of acceleration. So they tell you, I'm going to put it at, say, 6G. So they're going to tell you how quick you jump. If you do a little jump, it might be 3G. If you jump really high, it's going to be the amount of force you push off the ground. And they're just a measure of acceleration. You might have heard of them on roller coasters or in like planes. And they say, oh, 6G or something like that. It's a very strong acceleration. It's a force that would push you back down. And that's why you do more than a step. When you want to jump, you have to put a lot more effort in. And that's just going to register this. And so again, we just want to copy the same. So we're just going to look at our variables. And well, we want to change our jump by 1 every time it registers 1. Okay, and that's all good, but again, we've got no way of showing it. Now, we've already showing our steps in forever. So I'm just going to put in a different input, and you can see we still have all these buttons we've never used. So there's button A, I'm just going to change it here. There's button B, or there's A+. And we'll just stick it in as button B. And then again, we want to show our number. And that's going to be the number of jumps. Okay, and there's a little simple step and jump counter. That should work for everything. I don't think there's a jump button on this, is there? Let's see. Yeah, so it's still 0. Unfortunately, there's no little jump thing to copy onto this. But that's your simple idea, and when we get back into school, we're going to do a much better version of this. Thank you.